Good morning and welcome to the coolest coast where it is sunny and 64 degrees. I am Tina Prigge. I am joined by Kristin Odell. We're here with coffee with Kristin and Tina.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Cheers.
Cheers to you. Cheers to everyone. Today we're talking about bravery over fear, stepping out of your comfort zone. And Kristin, I have to say, my hands, my grip is still buzzing a little bit.
So
Can you
guys,
tell us a little bit?
So Tina and I had the pleasure of heading over to Strand Adventures this morning. We got Tina on the rock wall for the first time, which is why her grip is a little bit sore. But she did such an amazing job, and it was so fun, Tina, to be a part of that. So let's see if Jason has this highlight reel ready for us.
Kristin, that was so awesome. I'm still feeling euphoric after that.
Tina, you did such a good job. So first of all, that video makes it look easy. It is not that easy. So Tina, just tell the viewers what it was like to kind of make those first steps on the wall today.
So I've never done it before. And we were talking about this last week on the show about rock climbing and stepping out of your comfort zone. And Kristin, you had the great idea to go down to Strand Adventures and try it. So approaching the wall, I felt really safe with the gear. But the hardest part was really putting my first 2 feet on, trying to figure out how to part with the gravity on the ground that I love and commit to being on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And once I was there, it just happened.
So you were super speedy. How did you decide? I mean, this is your first time, so you're kind of going up. How did you decide just to make that effort to keep going? Because it is challenging as you go up. Your muscles start to fatigue. So what was that experience like as you got higher and higher?
Well, I was thankful for you there as the inspiration. um, but I just had to remind myself that other people have done it. I should be able to do it. I'll be better off if I do it. I'll be proud of myself if I do. And I just kept going for a handhold, and suddenly I was at the top. Now, I
Right.
didn't segregate it by color. I didn't focus on just orange or just green. I used whatever I could grab.
I do that too. I always find, I guess I'm not a good enough climber yet to be able to be selective of my color choices. It's just an accomplishment to get to the top and, slap it on the top and then enjoy that ride down. So tell us about the experience of just letting go and falling back.
It was awesome. I was a little afraid at first, but to just let go, it is a controlled fall, but it is euphoric. I'm still buzzing and full of energy from it.
Yeah, I always like to think of the fall as the reward for all the hard effort. There is something about that feeling of free falling that isn't like nothing else that we do in life. And so I always think, like, if I've made it to the top, then that is my reward for coming down in this kind of smooth, easygoing way to come down back to the floor.
It really isn't a reward, and you couldn't experience it if you didn't make it to the top first.
Right.
That's
That's it.
cool.
So if you were going to give advice to somebody else that hasn't climbed before, what would you say?
I don't represent Nike, but just do it. It's cool. We are,
That
I think, so fortunate to have Strand Adventures here on the coolest coast.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to take a minute to give a shout out. Matt and Audrey DeMarco were kind enough to let us sneak in behind the scenes early in the morning before they were open today, to use the wall and to promote it on the show today. So thanks, guys, for helping us out and giving Tina her first shot at the wall.
Thanks, Mary. Kristin, you've done the wall multiple times. So what's it like? You've already had that initial fears way behind you.
Mhm.
What's it like now when you're going to climb?
So I kind of, it was different today because they changed the courses. I wouldn't say on like a regular basis, but they do change it often enough that it keeps it interesting. I think for me, taking that first step's a little bit easier because you get confidence as you do it more often. But then after that, you start. I know when Grace, my oldest, and I climb, we start to kind of make a game of it. So, can you do it without using green, or can you do it without using orange? Or I'm going to challenge you to do this course. I also think as people do it more often, you can climb a little bit faster because you start getting confidence. And it's never a race to me. Just getting to the top is the whole goal. But yeah, just going and trying it, I think is really good. And I'm thankful that Strand is open again. My kids love going there. So it's such a great and unique part of our community, and it's great. So yeah, Wendy, way to go, girl. I agree. Tina did an amazing job today. Just tackling all her fears and just going for it.
Thanks. And one thing I really like too, we're both climbing together, but when you're in the midst of climbing, when you're finding a handhold, it is just you there on the wall.
Hmm.
You and, what comes next? Where's the next handhold? I like that feeling.
Yeah, I mean, don't you think in some ways it's almost like it's not quite fight or flight, but like I'm on the wall and it's just me, and if I let go, I'm going to fall, kind of. So yeah, you definitely are much more in the moment than we are when we're on the ground, and there's something to be said for just kind of having that focus on one thing at a time.
And even though it's hard, it's better to power through and keep going than falling because then
Right.
you have to start all the way over.
Sure. Sarah, I just saw your comment about discounts. I don't know if there's a Coolest Coast discount, but I do know that the Strand's been running some great deals during the week. They're on Facebook. I would totally encourage you guys to go check out their Facebook page and see what days they have specials on, because, yeah, you should definitely take advantage of that.
And it would be so cool to coordinate going at the same time, having
Mhm.
like a coolest coast climb.
There we go. Maybe that should be an event.
I would love it.
Maybe that should be an event. So, and it's just since we're talking about it, they have like a ninja gym kind of. We've seen some of these things on the ninja kind of talent shows on TV, but they've got a ninja gym there. The kids have so much fun. There's laser tag there, which we
I
think is
love
fun.
laser tag.
Oh my gosh, we get so sweaty playing laser tag there. Um, but
It's a great workout. So you know
it,
you're having fun and
yeah,
having a workout at the same time.
that's exactly right. And do that, all of that. Yes. Um, so yeah, I want to congratulate you, Tina. I think, trying new things, we've been challenged to try new things and do different things in a different way, but, just getting out there and saying, I'm going to do that. Was so proud of you. Just be like, I'm doing this. And you just did it. She did not hesitate one bit, guys. She just went right into it.
I was afraid if I overthought it, I would chicken out in some way or talk myself out of it. And I feel so great after
Mhm.
having done it. I accomplished it. It's,
Right.
you know, choosing bravery over fear is a much better place to be.
Yep. We used to have a wall at my last school. The kids and teachers loved it. How cool. What a fun thing to have at a school. What a great
Yeah.
idea. My girls are, let's see, kindergarten age to fourth grade, and they love it. They're great ages, but I really feel like the equipment and the offerings they have there really are for a wide variety of age groups. It's really not something that's limited by age, I guess, is my point.
I didn't feel like, oh, this is just for kids when I was doing it. It took all of my might, all of my concentration. I think I've got a blister right here.
Yeah,
So,
good.
Kristin, you were telling me a cool story about Nora, about your youngest daughter, and how she would approach the wall and the rappelling at the end. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. So prior to kind of everything closing down, we would go probably once or twice a week there to climb. And she is 6. And so she would only like scamper up the wall halfway. And then because she was worried about coming back down, the majority of the time she would climb back down the wall. She wouldn't actually just let go and take the ride. And so we were kind of practicing that. I was holding her and having her jump down. And when we went back last week to climb for the first time, on the way there, she just said, "Mommy, I think I can go to the top today." And I'm like, "What?" And so she totally did it. She climbed all the way up to the top and just let go and enjoyed that ride down. She landed on her feet. And I was like, "You totally just, like, she said she was going to do it. And she totally did it." And I think there's a good lesson to be learned about watching how kids play and, providing you're not going to hurt yourself as an adult, go after it like you are a kid and have that bravery as a kid would have about play because it really is just so much fun.
Right. Did she have that buzz feeling, that moment of euphoria? Could you tell?
I think she was surprised. I don't know. I mean, I don't think she like has the verbal language to be able to articulate what that feeling is, but she was definitely like so excited. And she asked that I have a video of it so that my husband could see because he wasn't there with us. So I do think she was excited. She was very excited to show him when she got home. So
So she's
yeah.
aware that it's an accomplishment.
Absolutely. Yes.
Cool.
So for our followers, I know we've got people on today. Have you been to the Strand and have you climbed? We'd love to just see your comments about what your experience was like. So let's see. Go ahead, Tina.
So Mary did a skills test in high school, walking on a wire 30 feet in the air, and then had to let go and descend to the ground. Oh my God, Mary, what? What kind of a school did you go to? Wow. That must have been exhilarating and terrifying. And
Right.
you've lived to tell the tale.
That's right. 30 feet up is no joke. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing you were harnessed in, Mary, but still, wow.
And I think having those experiences makes you realize what you're capable of and that, you know, we can do so much more than our fear would let us believe we can.
Right.
Yeah, tell us more, ladies. Tell us some other cool experiences you've been through.
It was a field trip. Okay, thanks, Mary. That helps. I was like, dang, if that was a high school and they had that kind of equipment set up, how awesome would that be?
Right,
Maybe
right.
there's a tip or lesson to be learned in this. Maybe high schools should have that kind of stuff.
Was it a circus school?
Maybe.
No, that's awesome.
That sounds so cool. This, if I talked about this last week, just let me know. But one of the things when I was on my conference last week that a lot of companies were talking about is just how resilient they had to be with being safer at home. So a lot of companies were just talking about the transition to being remote as an example, and how some of them had strategic plans to have their employees be more remote in, let's say, 3 years, and how because of how things happened, they did it in 48 hours. And I think this is a good link to kind of what we were talking about today. When you take the boundaries away from how we think about things and we just say, okay, we just have to do it or we're just going to do it, how much you can achieve or how successful you can be when you stop putting rules on yourself.
That is such a good perspective. Right.
Right?
It's the rules we put on ourselves, the expectations that hold us back.
Right. And sometimes unnecessarily, right? We just kind of create these mind boundaries where we think like we can't do that, or I can't do that, or how are we ever going to do that? And I think so many have shown that when you take those things away and it just becomes something we have to do, then we're capable of pretty epic things.
And, it doesn't even have to be athletically epic. Some of
Right.
the things we've been talking about fall into that bucket. But, one thing I've always been nervous about doing is creating a meringue pie. I don't know why, but meringue has always seemed like this insurmountable challenge. So during Safer at Home, I just finally decided to try. And you know what? It was really easy. I'm kind of embarrassed that I held off for so long. I could have been eating meringue my whole life.
So how was it? How did it turn out?
It was so delicious.
Was
Yeah,
it?
I've made it a couple of times.
What did you learn in the
Woo.
process of making the meringue?
Um, Eggs first, beat the eggs. I did a couple of times put the sugar in too soon.
Okay.
So beat the eggs well first, then add the sugar. I like using a stainless steel bowl
Mhm.
and whip the heck out of it until you get mountains and peaks. But
Yeah.
if you do it too much, then it's like too dense, almost like a spongy foam or something.
Right. So how many times did it take you to get the perfect meringue pie?
Twice.
That's amazing.
I know. After all this like worry and thinking, oh, it's insurmountable.
Oh, Mary.
Yeah, Mary, definitely. It's a totally safe way to come to terms with the fear of heights because you're harnessed in. And so really nothing can go wrong. And
Mhm.
you can climb as high as you want or as low as you want.
Right.
For me, just clinging to the wall at first changed everything.
Mhm.
That was literally the hardest part.
So, Tina, since the safety thing came up, let's just talk about the harness a little bit. So, we had these harnesses on today. How did you feel safe? Did it feel secure? Maybe describe for people a little bit about what that was like if they've never done it before.
Yeah, I've bungee jumped before and I felt much less bound in. Like I felt it was almost more terrifying. This I felt completely comfortable. I guess I didn't have any worries about that.
So, let's pause for a moment and talk about where were you when you were bungee jumping?
I went bungee jumping in Japan, and it was the hardest thing to let go. So they counted down 3, 2, 1, bungee. And my hands were still like gripping. I'm like, okay, we got to do this again. It was really hard to get my mind to throw my body into just open space. So I
Right.
think having the wall to cling to made it a different experience.
Sure. So what was the platform like, or what was the scene for the bungee jump experience?
Oh, it was cool. It was kind of like a scaffold that went up about 8 stories, and the target below was one of those huge blue, it was probably 6 feet thick mats, which you never even hit.
Right.
But you don't know that. When you let go, you're just like free falling through space. It's the most primal scream. And then when you hit the bottom and you bounce, it's like this maniacal laugh. It's like,
Right.
ah!
Oh my gosh. What made you decide to bungee jump then?
I just wanted to.
Really?
Yeah, I was much more brave when I was young.
See, I think
I
this
think
is
before being a
proof.
mom.
I think this is proof that you're still brave.
Ah, thank
You've got
you.
a lot of bravery underneath, I don't know if you guys are catching on, but Tina's quite the adventurer. Oh yeah. I want
Oh,
to
skydiving.
Oh man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
tried skydiving too with my brother. He got it for me as a birthday present one year, and that was also terrifying. Um,
So wait a second. You have skydived before?
I did. Yeah. I actually tried bungee jumping first, and I thought, okay, I got that. That's cool. But when you're up in that plane, and again, you're being asked to just throw yourself out there, that letting go, it's the first step that's the hardest for me, I think.
Right.
Because once you're out there, then it's awesome. It's exhilarating. You get to the ground, you're like, let's go again.
Did you do it a second time?
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
And I
Raisa
don't
loves
think I could.
skydiving. Holy cow. Raisa, I don't think we've ever talked about that. This will have to be our next conversation.
Oh, ladies, I want
Sarah.
to know about it.
Yeah. Sarah, if you go again, you'll have to let us know.
Take
Sarah,
Kristen with you.
yeah, I don't
Would
know.
you do it, Kristen?
I feel like I wouldn't want my children to be older before I go skydiving in case I crash to the ground and die. That I would just want that. I would want, I know I could die in a car accident. I don't need comments about I could die anywhere. I just feel like I would need to wait a little bit longer until my children are a little bit older and less needy of me.
Wow, how fun. Well, let's plan some more adventures. And thank you so much, everybody, for the great conversation today and for listening to our adventures. And oh, there's a cool shot. That's Kristin hanging on the wall with her phone. Like, I could not have coordinated that. You're amazing,
I was
Kristin.
just trying to get a shot of Tina across the wall so that she had this perspective of herself high up. So, yes,
You rock.
it was an
You
awesome
rock
day.
climb.
You rock climb.
All right, everyone. Stay well on the coolest coast. Keep having fun, and we will see you next time.
Have a great day, guys.